percent of energy left, and after learning that the desired item had already arrived, Mu Yunlan immediately became perfunctory. Well, that's awesome. Sister Yinghua, I suddenly remembered that I still have something to do, so I'll come back to play with you another day. After saying that, she directly got up and carried little Six Ears and headed outside. Duanmu Yinghua had no time to say anything at all, and could only get up to give a send-off. There was nothing wrong with Mak Yunlan doing this, because that's how she's always been, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Duanmu Yinghua, who had sent off Mu Yunlan, was deep in thought. That's the six-eared macaque who defeated the golden-scaled serpent that possesses the bloodline of a true dragon? Aside from being excessively cute, there doesn't seem to be anything special about it. Returning to the middle of the Song family's own small courtyard, Mu Yunlan couldn't wait to say to Lu Zhang, "Come on, try and take me with you in the vanish." Talent, ground transportation. Effects, consume a certain amount of spiritual energy to make oneself fit perfectly with the earth. Integrate into the ground, and travel quickly with the power of the earth's veins. The deeper one dives into the ground, the more spiritual energy one consumes. Lu Zhang, however, did not rush, but first added the 9 heavy Dharma ring to himself. He waited until the 9 extra layers of spiritual energy were back to full strength before he unleashed the earthbound transportation technique, wrapping himself and Mu Yunlan in a special kind of spiritual energy. It was still being held in Mu Yunlan's arms at this time. Together, the two plunged straight into the ground, losing visual perception. There is still freedom to breathe and speak, but the voice cannot be delivered. However, they could talk through the bridge of sharing or the power of contract. Lu Zhang went about 5 meters deeper into the ground, advancing at a speed of about 10 meters per second while transmitting his voice. That's the current depth and speed I can maintain for a long time. Deeper and faster. My recovery will not be able to catch up with the consumption. Mu Yunlan spoke. No, it can be slower, but we're going deeper. I'll try. Lu Zhang tried again and realized that if he slowed down, he could indeed go deeper. But there is a limit to this. This was because the recluse relied on the spiritual power of the earth's veins, and the deeper one went, the greater the pressure would be. There was a lot of spiritual energy that needed to be consumed to withstand this pressure. Up to 1,000 meters deep. Keeping still is fine. Moving accelerates the depletion. It's got to go up. Lu Zhang gave a conclusion. It's enough. That place, it's 600 or 700 meters underground. Mak Yunlan said excitedly. Go up first, get some rest, and then we'll sneak out of town at night. Lu Zhang couldn't help but inwardly sigh once again when he heard this. Worthy of being a demoness of the devil's way. What you do these days is either forceful or sneaky. It's not even a righteous thing to do. Anyway, but Lu Zhang didn't have any ill feelings. After all, he himself is a vested interest, and he can't do such a thing as putting down his chopsticks and cursing his mother while eating meat with his bowl up. It's not okay to be and stand at the same time. Into the night. Lu Zhang first brought Mu Yunlan about 5 meters deep into the ground to vanish towards the outskirts of the city. Following the directions and distances she gave, she quickly came to the top of her destination. Get a breath of fresh air on the ground first, Mak Yunlan said solemnly. There's a black bear corpse demon equivalent to the Beast King realm down here. Corpse demons belong to a type of demon. Very terrifying. But this corpse demon was severely injured and is in deep slumber. The place where the corpse demon sleeps condenses rich yin in corpse chi, and then an orchid with pink petals and leaves that look like blood-colored tongues will be born. This flower is called the blood tongue, and our goal is to pick it. But we can't provoke that corpse demon, or it will be dangerous. Yeah, no problem. Lu Zhang nodded in agreement. Mu Yunlan stroked the little monkey's head and said with a smile, after I get the blood tongue orchid, I'll be able to become very powerful. Little Six Ears, I'll protect you in the future. With that, she took the little monkey in her arms. Lu Zhang, on the other hand, added the 9 heavy Dharma ring to himself at the same time and then disappeared into the ground. Although the location given by Mu Yunlan was not split in half, Lu Zhang, who had mastered the ground transportation technique, could find anything underground by virtue of the earth's veins, so they soon arrived in a huge underground cave 700 meters below. This place is filled with yin and fury. Lu Zhang, however, directly controlled it with the 10 yin wind's talent skill that he had obtained from the blast wind harvest. It prevents the erosion of this energy from harming the body. In the middle of the 8 pools holding sticky black blood, a huge bear demon lay on its back. Its body did not rise and fall with breath. It was as good as dead. It did, in fact, die. Being a corpse demon is a demon that is alienated after death. Not far from it, Mu Yunlan caught a glimpse of the blood tongue orchid swaying in the gloomy wind. Not just one, but 3 in all, 2 of which are already in full bloom. Little Six Ears, go! I'm begging for recommendations and catching up on my reading. End of chapter. Chapter 12, She's Such a Nice Person. Demon 8 Valley. Begging for a follow-up. Chapter 12, She's Such a Nice Person. Demon 8 Valley. Begging for a follow-up. Chapter 12, She's Such a Nice Person. Demon 8 Valley. Begging for a follow-up. Lu Zhang did not hesitate and directly used the earthbound transportation technique to arrive underneath one of the blood tongue orchids, then using the earth pulse spiritual energy to wrap it up and, in a flash, pull it into the ground. After this blood tongue orchid disappeared, the flow of the Yin wind around it suddenly rippled. Lu Zhang hurriedly used the 10 Yin wind skill to regulate it and calm it down. After sending the first blood tongue orchid back to Mu Yunlan, Lu Zhang came back to the bottom of the second blood tongue orchid. Same operation. However, this time, the turbulence of the Yin wind was even stronger. Even the body of that black bear corpse demon shook a little. However, Lu Zhang did not have any panic, and at the first opportunity, he once again unleashed the 10 Yin wind skill. Once again, the restless energies around them were calmed down. Half a dozen times, it returned to the ground with 2 intact blood tongues. Mu Yunlan first picked up the little monkey and kissed it hard several times. Little 6 ears. You're fantastic. Ah ha ha. I don't even dare to think that if Feng Zhouxia knew that you got 2 blood tongue orchids for me, would she regret her death? She asked for the little snake back, but sent me the better you. What a nice guy. Unfortunately I'm not. I'll show her what I'm made of with these 2 blood tongues. Lu Zhang scratched the fur that was stuck together by the crazy girl's saliva with his own little paw. Once again, speechless. I can't believe I got it all over me. If it wasn't for the fact that you gave me pills to eat and a bath to take. Humph, high and low enough for you to call out to the 6th master. After being mad for a while, Mak Yunlan found a silent place. Sitting on the boulder, she was filled with a serious look. Little 6 ears. Whatever happens next, you stay away, and don't let any other creature near me. Lu Zhang nodded, even as all 6 ears followed suit. Don't worry, no one will be able to bother you with me. Makunaga becoming powerful seems to have had some opposite effects on her own flip-flopping, but in the long run, now that Mak Yunlan was rapidly enhancing, he would definitely find a way to help his spirit pet follow suit. The power that Lu Zhang possessed today was not yet able to be independent. Since she needed to be fed by Mak Yunlan, she became stronger so that she could eat better herself. Lu Zhang then got into the spirit and first inspected the surrounding area once again. Then they directly created a Yin wind to hover around them as a way to isolate Mu Yunlan's aura. To the greatest extent possible, create a safe environment for her. After Mu Yunlan calmed the spiritual energy in his body, he took out a blood tongue orchid and put one of the petals into his mouth. It melts in your mouth. She immediately mobilized her spiritual energy to guide this surging energy that the petals had turned into, surging into her body. Run the secret art, burning blood and transforming the spirit. The blood tongue orchid contained a huge amount of energy, and the energy property was Xian Yin. If you don't have any means, take it directly, without waiting for some improvement. He would die from this energy eroding his heart and veins. Makunaga dared to take it. Of course there is something to fall back on. The blood-burning spirit transformation secret art was precisely a secret method that helped refine spiritual energy by burning blood. If one were to refine other spirit medicines, one might have to take into account the lack of one's own blood. But one of the effects of blood tongue is that it can help to generate blood energy. This creates a positive cycle. A small portion of the refined spiritual energy gives birth to blood qi, which is used to continue refining. The rest was transformed into Mu Yunlan's own spiritual cultivation. Mu Yunlan's original spiritual cultivation level was the 6th level of the first rank. 6 petals of the first blood tongue are eaten. Her spiritual cultivation then broke through to the 4th level of the 2nd rank. It's obvious how powerful the blood tongue boost is. It wasn't something that could be compared to the Hua family's white cloud peach. However, this kind of thing was not something that ordinary people were blessed to consume. If not for the fact that Mu Yunlan had once been the holy maiden of the Devil's Path, and had mastered some miscellaneous secret arts, it was something she could only stare at when she got her hands on it. Mak Yunlan followed suit and ate the 2nd blood tongue orchid. This time, it directly allowed her spirit power cultivation to step into the 1st level of the 3rd rank. 3rd order beast spirit realm imperial beast master. Only with this kind of strength can one be considered to have a certain degree of self-preservation. Feeling that he had regained a certain amount of power, Mu Yunlan was in a very good mood. Seeing the little monkey who was still carefully monitoring the situation around him, instantly, he rushed over and hugged it. Kiss, little 6 ears. Don't worry, I'll find a way to help you level up next. Mu Yunlan held Lu Zhang tightly in her arms. Lu Zhang, on the other hand, suddenly thought, Mak Yunlan's spiritual power had reached the 3rd rank, and he could use the bridge of sharing to access her spiritual power. In other words, He himself was now equivalent to having a third order, first rank spirit power level. The effect of releasing skills with this will definitely be more powerful. Talked about his thoughts with Mak Yunlan. Mu Yunlan immediately asked Lu Zhang to establish the bridge of sharing before releasing the earthbound transportation technique. Sure enough, the speed of travel increased to 3 levels. They quickly returned within Sky Cloud City. Rest one night. Next day, Mak Yunlan met his cousin, Song Snap. Song Snapdragon only possessed a talent at the 9-star level of the Star Glory grade, but the spirit pet also had a 9-star transcendent quality. He was 2 years older than Mu Yunlan, and now he was already a 4th stage, 7th ranked Imperial Beast Master. When Mu Yunlan asked Song Snap to touch the little monkey, Lu Zhang took the opportunity to acquire the other party's natural ability through contact. At the same time, it gains the ability of its spirit pet. Only after both of these talents had arrived did Mu Yunlan open her mouth to speak about the other purpose she had sought out Song Snapdragon for. Cousin, I need to make a trip to Demon Ape Valley. Why don't you accompany me? The Valley of the Demon Ape was one of the assets under the Song family's name. Among them lived a ferocious beast called the four-armed demon ape. Adult four-armed devil apes had a strength of around the 5th level of the 3rd rank. However, there was also a four-armed demon ape king of the 4th stage and 5th level among them. Although with the means that Mu Yunlan himself had at his disposal, he was completely capable of dealing with a 4th-ranked ferocious beast. But this is the Song family's property after all. She was a person who, despite her somewhat extreme ideas, was still gracious. The Song family has been good to her. She couldn't just destroy the Valley of the Demon Ape. So to seek the Song family's permission, it would be best to let Song Snap follow along. Song Snap sniffed and glanced at the little monkey, smiling. No problem. There, it is indeed perfect for your spirit pet to grow. There was a spirit pool in the Devil Ape Valley that could help spirit pets cultivate. It has the most pronounced effect on ape-like creatures. According to people's inference, the formation of the Valley of the Devil Ape was due to its influence by this water pool. But Mu Yunlan knew a little more. After the Song family was destroyed in the previous life, the Duanmu family took over the Demon Ape Valley. Duanmu Yinghua was injured by a demonic ape in the Demon Ape Valley, and was so furious that he directly had all the four-armed demonic apes in the Demon Ape Valley slaughtered. In the midst of the battle, it shattered a mountain wall next to the waterhole. A huge piece of blood-colored amber was revealed inside. Someone passed on the specifics afterward. It turned out that it was the heart of an 8th-order beast king Vajra ape. It's unknown what it had gone through. Condensed a large amount of spiritual energy into a piece of amber, and was also squeezed and fused into the mountain. The spiritual energy of this blood-colored amber escaped, which gave rise to the magical effect of that water pool in the Demon Ape Valley. End of chapter. Chapter 13, Second Bloodline Talent Skill Awakening. Requesting for follow-up reading. Chapter 13, Second Bloodline Talent Skill Awakening. Requesting for follow-up reading. Chapter 13, Second Bloodline Talent Skill Awakening. Requesting for follow-up reading. Not only did Mu Yunlan want to get that blood-colored amber, she wanted to get it openly and honestly. This was so that Feng Zhouxiao wouldn't suspect anything. The only variable that allowed Feng Zhouxiao to continue to think he was winning was a little monkey. It's more fun that way. Also, to avoid trouble. Grandpa and great-uncle never had any complaints when she took the Song family's things, because they really do consider her family. Not going to count the benefits. Her father, Mak Nanshan, however, only had interests in his eyes. Sneak away and your strength plummets. This is rather unattractive. Song Snap's movements were swift, and within a short time, the two of them arrived at the Demon Ape Valley on Song Snap's spirit pet, the Flaming Wild Lion. The Demon Ape Valley was one of the Song family's important assets. The place is guarded and patrolled every day. When Lu Zhang entered the Demon Ape Valley, he was the one who felt many hot gazes. Quite a few four-armed demonic apes stared at themselves. That gaze, probably out of instinct, Lu Zhang could see the meaning of it at a glance. Courtship. Lu Zhang hurriedly ducked towards Mu Yunlan's chest. Nima, an ordinary adult four-armed devil ape is more than 4 meters tall. How do you generate the impulse to look at me, such a small one? Lu Zhang was truly speechless. With the fiery wild lion driving the way, they soon arrived at the edge of the waterhole. Song Snap spoke up. You can also go in and take a dip. This is also a rare cultivation treasure for low-ranked Imperial Beast Masters. Flame and I will stand guard right outside here. We won't let those four-armed demonic apes get close. Thank you.